She thought you'd chase. She thought you'd crumble, desperately trying to win her back. But instead, you did something she never expected. You chose yourself. And that, more than anything, made her regret everything. Welcome to Stoic Venture, where we explore the deep, unshakable wisdom of the ancient Stoics and apply it to real-life situations, especially in relationships and self-mastery. Today, we're diving into the psychology behind why stepping back, not chasing, triggers regret and makes you the person they can't stop thinking about. You see, when a woman expects you to chase after her, it's because she believes she holds the power. Maybe she's testing your value. Maybe she's been conditioned to think that a man should always pursue. Maybe she just wanted to see how much control she had over your emotions. Whatever the reason, she made a bet that you would break, that your desire for her would override your sense of self-respect. But instead you walked away with unwavering poise, and that single move flipped everything on its head. This isn't just about relationships. It's about a fundamental Stoic principle, mastering your own emotions and not allowing external circumstances to dictate your inner world. The moment you chose not to react emotionally, you became the master of the situation. This is the power of indifference, the kind of controlled detachment that the great Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, practiced daily. And it's the same mindset that makes people magnetically drawn to you. Imagine this. She's used to men who beg, plead, or try to prove their worth. But you did something entirely different. You didn't argue. You didn't try to explain yourself. And most importantly, you didn't chase. Instead, you let your absence do the talking. At first, she may have felt relieved, even victorious, but as time passed, something changed. That victory began to feel hollow. She started to wonder, why isn't he chasing? Did he never care? Did I misjudge his worth? And this is where regret starts creeping in. Because deep down, people want what they cannot have. The moment they feel like they've lost something of true value, they begin to reassess everything. It's human psychology, the scarcity principle. When something is readily available, it's taken for granted. But when it's absent, its true value is realized. And that's exactly what you triggered. Now let's get deeper. The reason walking away has such an intense effect is because it disrupts expectations. It forces the other person to self-reflect. She has to sit with the silence, with the lack of your attention. And in that silence, she starts to remember your presence, your energy, the way you carried yourself. And suddenly, she's not sure if she made the right choice. But here's the key. This isn't about manipulation. It's not about playing games or trying to make someone miss you. This is about embodying true Stoic resilience. It's about understanding that your worth is not dependent on external validation. It's about realizing that your power comes from within, not from the approval of someone else. And when you live in this state, fully detached from needing a specific outcome, you become someone that others naturally respect and admire. She thought you'd chase, but instead you focused on yourself. You poured your energy into your passions, your growth, your own path. And that is the ultimate act of self-respect. It's the quiet confidence of a man who doesn't need to prove himself, because he already knows his value. This kind of mindset shift changes everything, because when you're no longer reactive, when you're no longer seeking validation, you start attracting people who genuinely value you. And not just in relationships. This applies to every area of life. Business, friendships, opportunities. The more you master yourself, the more the world takes notice. Now let's take this concept even further. Think about some of the most influential figures in history. They weren't the ones chasing approval. They were the ones so deeply committed to their own path that the world had no choice but to respect them. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius didn't beg for loyalty. He earned it through his unwavering discipline and wisdom. Epictetus, born a slave, didn't waste his energy on resentment. He channeled it into philosophy, teaching people how to master their inner world. Seneca, surrounded by political chaos, didn't react emotionally. He remained steady, using logic and reason to navigate even the most turbulent situations. And that's exactly what you're doing when you choose not to chase. You're stepping into your own power, operating from a place of inner stability rather than external desperation. And in doing so, you become someone unforgettable. Because in a world where everyone is seeking attention, the one who remains unbothered stands out. She may not admit it right away, but she will feel it, that absence, that shift in energy. And as time passes, she will realize what she lost. Not just a person, but a presence, a man who truly knew his worth. So if you're in this situation, take a deep breath and remind yourself, you don't need to prove anything. You don't need to chase. You don't need to convince anyone of your value, because the right people will see it. And those who don't, they were never meant to walk your path in the first place. You see, the beauty of this mindset is that it frees you. It liberates you from the exhausting cycle of seeking approval. It shifts your focus inward, where real strength is cultivated. Instead of asking, what can I do to make her want me back? You start asking, what can I do to become the best version of myself? And that shift in perspective changes everything. Because when you truly embrace this philosophy, something powerful happens. You stop waiting. You stop looking back. You stop hoping for someone else's realization. Instead, you focus on what's ahead. You invest in your growth, your dreams, your ambitions. And in doing so, you start to create a life so fulfilling that the past becomes irrelevant. And ironically, that's when people start noticing. The moment you genuinely stop caring about their validation, they feel it. That shift in energy, that self-assurance, it becomes magnetic. Because confidence isn't about seeking attention. It's about knowing, deep down, that you are enough just as you are. So let her realize. Let her sit with the weight of her choices. Let her wonder why you never chased. And while she does, you'll be moving forward, stronger, wiser, more focused than ever. Because a true Stoic doesn't dwell on what was lost. He builds on what remains. And in that journey, he finds something far greater than regret. He finds himself. And as you walk this path, something remarkable happens. The world begins to respond differently. Opportunities arise where there were once dead ends. New connections form. People who align with your vision, your values, your growth. Because the universe favors momentum. It rewards those who move forward, not those who linger in the shadows of what if and what could have been. You see, every time you choose progress over stagnation, you reinforce your strength. Every time you embrace discipline over distraction, you solidify your foundation. And with each step, you become more unshakable, more resilient, less concerned with the past, and more invested in the present. That's the essence of true power. Not in seeking validation, not in proving your worth to anyone else, but in becoming so focused on your own evolution that the noise around you fades into irrelevance. So let them wonder, let them question, let them regret. That's not your burden to carry. Your duty is to yourself, to your path, your growth, your unbreakable mindset. Because at the end of it all, a Stoic doesn't chase. He doesn't plead. He doesn't wait. He builds, he rises, he transcends. And in doing so, he finds the only validation that ever truly mattered, his own. The beauty of this path is that it isn't defined by external success. It isn't about proving anyone wrong or showing the world how far you've come. It's about proving something to yourself, that you are capable of overcoming, of rising above, of building a life that is rooted in purpose and self-respect. Think about the great Stoics of history: Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus. They did not waste time lamenting the past. They understood that suffering often comes from attachment, from wishing things had turned out differently. Instead, they focused on what they could control: their thoughts, their actions, their mindset. You too have that power. Every moment you spend fixated on what was lost is a moment taken away from what you could be building. Every ounce of energy spent reminiscing about the past is energy stolen from the present, from your potential, from your growth, from your evolution. It is not an easy journey, but nothing truly worthwhile ever is. Growth demands discomfort. Progress requires sacrifice. Mastery is forged in the fire of discipline, and the moment you stop looking back is the moment you break free from the chains of regret. Because here is the truth: there is no power in the past. It is a ghost, a shadow, an echo of a version of you that no longer exists. What matters is now. What matters is what you do with this moment, this day, this opportunity to shape your destiny. So rise. Not because you want to be seen, not because you need approval, but because this is who you are: a builder, a creator, a force of nature. A man who does not bow to the weight of his past, but instead uses it as fuel to propel him forward. Let her realize, let her wonder, let her sit with the weight of her choices. That is her path to walk. But yours is filled with clarity, with strength, with purpose. And in that purpose, you will find something far greater than closure. You will find yourself. Each day, as you wake, you have a choice: to dwell in what was or to step boldly into what could be, to repeat old patterns or to forge a new path, to seek external validation or to cultivate internal power. A true Stoic does not waste time in hesitation. He acts, he decides, he moves. And through this movement, he grows. Do not be swayed by fleeting emotions. They come and go like waves, but your foundation must be unwavering. Discipline over distraction, purpose over pleasure, strength over sentimentality. It is in this discipline that true freedom is found. Because the moment you realize you do not need anyone's approval, the moment you truly embrace your worth, is the moment you become unstoppable. So let the past remain where it belongs. Let the opinions of others hold no weight. Let the distractions of the world fade into the background. You have work to do, not to prove something to them, but to prove everything to yourself. And that is how a Stoic wins. Stay strong, stay Stoic. And remember, your power lies not in what you chase, but in what you allow to come to you. This is Stoic Venture.